Okay, so today I want to talk about the way of Kaizen. It's a Japanese philosophy that was actually created during, I think, like World War II by Americans and then brought over to Japan after the war was ended. The way of Kaizen goes that every day you strive to be 1% better than you were the day before. Now, the simple thing about it is it can apply to any single thing in your entire life, any goal, any habit, any whatever. You can strive to be 1% better than you were the day before. Kaizen was originally created for like businesses. Businesses still use it to this day. How can we become 1% better at our jobs than we were yesterday? How can we become more productive? How can we put out more products 1% at a time? Now, my take on Kaizen is simply just remembering every day 1%. I'm in the gym, 1%. I think 1%, and I get one more rep in. I'm at work. I'm thinking 1%. Okay, so let's grab this paperwork and put it up on my way to the copier, which is past where I put that paperwork up. See, 1%. 1% in a relationship. Hey, let's check in on my partner a little earlier than I would normally, just to, see how she is doing, how her day is, just, show some initiative. 1%. That's the way of Kaizen. And if we want to get better in our lives, we want to improve, we want to become the people who we want to be and the people we are meant to be, then we must strive for Kaizen. Because the way of Kaizen really is it's the most simplest way of self-improvement. It really is. Now you get the self-improvement kingdoms, which is like, finance, fitness, family, freedom, yada, 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 faith. You got the pillars, the kingdoms of self-improvement, which all those are things you need to focus on and strive to, become better at, strive for. But if you want to break it down any more simpler, just think of Kaizen. Just become 1% better. You can be you, or you can be the better version of you, just 1% at a time. It's up to you to choose. So, do a little research on Kaizen, or just do the 1% at a time thing. Just focus on how can I achieve things 1% better. Ask yourself little questions, like what's one thing I can do today to help me achieve my goals? One thing, what's one small thing I can do today? Or what is one thing I like about myself? Say you have self-esteem problems, self-esteem issues, and you want to work through those. Well, ask yourself that one question every day. What is something I liked about myself today? Do stuff like that. Any problem you face, you can use Kaizen. Ask small little questions, little 1% questions. That's another way of Kaizen, is asking little questions to break down big problems, break down big goals, break down big tasks, break them down little by little. And with these little questions, and that right there stops the fight or flight response you get when you're facing big problems or big situations or big tasks. It stops that. It keeps that part of the brain down. I think that's like the amygdala section of the brain. I might be butchering that, probably am, but it keeps that section of the brain quiet. And what does it do? It helps your mind reprogram itself to work on said issues, tasks, or problems that you are going through, working on, or experiencing. By asking these little questions, little questions. For me, I don't do much of the little questions. I do here and there. I'm like, all right, what's one thing I can do today to work towards my goals? What is one little thing I can do today? I can record a 5-minute video real fast talking about Kaizen. That is one way. That's one way to work towards one of my goals. I can work on writing one of my books. Okay, I can write one page today. I can write one paragraph today. That's working towards my goals. I can create a social media post. That's working towards my goals. I can do a little research. That's working towards my goals. You see what I'm saying? Like one little thing each day. Now, I like to look at the 1%. I'll be walking through my day, and I'll think to myself in turn, I'll be thinking 1%, 1%, 1%. And that is how I start thinking, okay, hey, let me do this little task right here at the same time I'm doing this task, because I can multitask on both, and that's me doing my job 1% better. Or, hey, let me stop at this grocery store on the way home and pick up the couple things I need instead of going home, chilling for a little bit, and then going back out. That's being 1% better at that portion of life. And that's the way of Kaizen. So try implementing Kaizen in your life. Ask yourself the little questions. Break down big problems, big issues, big tasks into little questions and ask yourself these. Reprogram your brain. Work on just becoming 1% better than you were yesterday. No matter what part of life you want to work on, finance, work, family, faith, relationships, just your own self, anything. Take one more step. Boom, you're 1% closer to your daily step goal of 10,000. Just think, 1%. How can I be 1% better than I was yesterday? Think about that.